Well, hello. I'm Pandy of Pandy's Hair Candy and More. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber and you are already Pandy's peeps, you already know what it gives. Welcome to the recap from Greenleaf, Season 5, Episode 5, titled The Fifth Day. So without further ado, y'all, we're going to go ahead and jump right into this recap / review. And we're going to go ahead and chop it up and dissect it and see what it gives. Feel free to kick back and relax, grab your beverages and your refreshments, and let's jump right on into this recap. So the episode began with us seeing Grace going to wake up Sophia. Sophia is still in this slumber, she's going through the motions behind the nude pics that have seemed to have resurfaced. They've come back up from the little young basketball player dude who she was messing around with. So she's moping, she doesn't want to get up. And you all got to remember now, this is the last day of service at Calvary. So Lady Mae and Bishop had already made a decision that they were going to hold service at the house and that Lady Mae was going to preach. So Grace is up there trying to wake her up for that, and like I said, she's still being trolled by the boy over them nude pics. So next we seen Jacob and Carissa. They at the house still going through the motions, except for now it's even more vicious and brutal between them. They were getting ready to head over to the Greenleaf Mansion as well for the church service, but they were taking their digs at one another. Now back at the Greenleaf house, Charity is actually leading the family in song before Lady Mae preaches. Corinne is there, and Bishop ends up having to get both Jacob and Carissa together, basically before Lady Mae even gets off into her sermon, because once they arrived there, it's like they carried all the foolishness from the house. Like I said, they were being real vicious and nasty towards one another. They was making little remarks and jabs right there in the living room in front of everybody. So Bishop had to, pull them together, and Jacob kind of thought like, yeah, Pops, tell her. And he was like, and you too. So he had to get them both together, reel them back in. And afterwards, we saw Lady Mae set out to go to Tara James. She told Bishop that, two Greenleaf men had already paid her a visit and failed. So she was going to be the one to go and handle the business that needed to be handled about her house. We then see Bishop go and find AJ, because afterwards, after the church service, they had a whole spread. Like, they made it almost like a celebration. They had all this food. It was like a brunch. They had waffles, they had eggs, they had pancakes, they had pretty much every kind of brunch food you could think of. It was a big spread. But AJ, of course, was kind of isolated away from everybody. So Bishop went and found him. And, he ends up being the one to kind of smooth things over, get him to open up a little bit and kind of start talking. Get him to feel a little bit more comfortable around the family. So next we see Lady Mae down to the mission. She has eyes on Tara. Tara looked like she must be letting out from some sort of service, because it was a Sunday after all, and she was outside kind of, shaking hands as people were parting ways from the mission. She was saying her goodbyes to everyone after her service, basically, and Lady Mae, like I said, she's sitting in her car stalking the scene, got eyes on her. So when she goes inside, at first, initially, I was under the impression that she didn't know who Lady Mae was, but obviously she did. So they're talking, and Lady Mae kind of plays it. She kind of plays it real strategically with her. Initially I thought Lady Mae was gonna go up in there guns a blazing and just lay into her, but she was real meek and humble with it. She was real strategic, and she kind of listened to the girl. And by the end of the conversation, she was like, the Lord sure does have a funny sense of humor. And she told her, you're doing good work here. She went on to tell Lady Mae all about how, think about it. Think about all the homeless women and children and, drug addicts and different people that could be helped and housed on all that land that basically the Greenleafs live on. So she kind of left Lady Mae with something to think about. Meanwhile, we seen Bishop and AJ out on the grounds at the Greenleaf property, and Bishop takes him in to the garage where there's this huge box. And he kind of goes into this long story, you know how Bishop does, and he starts to tell him about how his father, in an effort to teach him a lesson about buying him a car, told him that if he could put the car together, then he could have his car. So long story short, this car had been sitting in this box all these years. He tells AJ that if he sticks around and helps him put it together, the car is his. So AJ lights up. So I think Bishop tapped into a soft spot with AJ. AJ's I think that was the first time we ever seen him smile. So, Bishop is not coming at him all aggressive on, oh, you need to be on your meds. Oh, you need to be in treatment, like the way Grace is. And then Noah just ain't expressing no kind of interest in the boy as far as I can see. So Bishop might be on to something there. We then see Grace inside the house sipping wine and spilling all the tea to Noah about what's going on. Telling him about how Tara's really coming for the house. In my opinion, she was giving up too much information because we don't really know, in my opinion, what Noah's true agenda is. But then they began to talk about how things went with him and Noah back together again for the first night. And then he pulls a pillow from the couch to his lap. But prior to that, wait a minute, I'm skipping around. He was being real flirty with him. They got to talking about, remember the first consecration Sunday? And talking about how she was like, don't even remind me, I was a virgin that day. So basically, Grace and Noah got it in Calvary first consecration Sunday. So I don't know why they felt the need to bring that up, but they was being real flirty about it. So back to where I was at, he pulls a pillow from the couch. He tells her, I realize you're tired. You got to be tired. You've been dealing with all this stuff with AJ, all this stuff going on with your family. Just rest. So he puts the pillow on his lap and tells her to just rest. Now, she's reluctant to do it because, of course, she got Rick Fox, in the back of her mind that she got to think about now. He's in Vegas working his case, trying to find out what's going on with Bob Whitmore, H&H, and all that. And you up here playing flirty with the baby daddy. So she does reluctantly lay down on the pillow and she falls asleep. Next, we see Corinne, the big girl, May's old assistant who always had her ear to the ground, knew all the tea. She has been getting a play-by-play from her grandmother on everything going on at Calvary. Apparently, Phil and Judy done had wrecking balls roll up to the church. They were out taking selfies and all after the service with their hard hats on right next to the wrecking crew. So, they are really just like, whatever. Calvary is no more. So Charity, we see Charity step out. She asks the girls, Zora and Sophia, to watch the baby. She tells them she needs to go do something. So she steps out and she goes to place a call to Phil's daddy. She gets him on the line, Mr. Shabazz, and he tells her, just like he told Grace, you got 2 minutes. He ends up hanging up on her. He wasn't trying to hear it. And we then see Bishop out talking to AJ, and in walks Lady Mae. She's clearly been defeated. Bishop is trying to, pick her for information like what happened, what did you get? Did you get her to fall back? And she tells Bishop that she thinks they're gonna have to give up the house. Now, Jacob and Carissa, they come and they interrupt where Zora and Sophia are sitting with Charity's baby, and they tell Zora, hey, we need to talk to you. Now, Sophia's looking all freaked out because remember, ever since her incident, she can't have children. That kind of put her in an awkward situation where she was sitting with Charity's baby. So they go and they grab Zora and they break the news that they're getting a divorce. Now, little beknownst to any of us, this kind of broke her little heart and her little spirit. She was kind of being nasty towards her dad and trying to blame him for everything, and her mama ended up trying to let her know, it wasn't just all him. So she finally came to the realization that mama wasn't no saint. Mama was actually doing a little bit too much too. So Grace wakes up on Noah's lap, and then out of the blue, Noah decides to tell her some mess about some book that he found when he was staying at the grounds cabin, down there where Zora and Sophia are staying at right now. It was some kind of ledger, and it had maps in it and all this other stuff. And it kind of outlined something about the Negro coming. So he asked Grace, do you think the Negro was Daryl James, Basie and them's daddy? And she was like, is it still there? He's like, yeah, it was under the bed. So, like I said, Charity, she's still on the phone trying to get information out of Mr. Shabazz, but of course he wasn't here for it. So he hangs up. So, as Sophia's sitting in there while they're breaking the news to Zora, AJ comes in and he kind of sees that something's not right. She's kind of off and being all weird. So he asks her, what's up? And he shares with AJ that she wants to stay with him and Zora. And he actually gives her a pep talk like, look at all these grown people. Look at your parents. Look at Charity. All these adults still staying at home. Nothing's normal about that. Like, whatever you got going on, you need to just grow up and deal with it. So she shares with him about the situation with the nude pics and how she doesn't want to go back to school. And he just tells her, you're going to have to grow up. Look at what I have to do. You're going to have to grow up. You're going to have to put your big girl panties on one leg at a time. And you're going to have to just deal with it. So that was a kind of good scene where he gave her some good sound advice. And it kind of seemed like they were having a bonding brother-sister moment. Now, Grace shows up down to the cabin where she finds Zora all tore up and stressed out because, of course, her parents just broke the news to her. And she asks, had she seen the journal? And she's like, everything old is in there. So Grace goes in there and she done got the book. So she has the ledger now. We then see Bishop trying to convince Lady Mae to accept money from Grace to offer to Tara James, because remember, Grace got all the money now. She was left a huge lump sum of money, I believe, when the father, Aaron's daddy, died. Yeah, he left her most of the money and not his own son's son. It was weird, y'all. But anyway, Lady Mae's not trying to hear of it because that's just going to remind her of her dirty little secret, so she doesn't want to go that route. Charity then comes in and tells them that they're going to see Calvary one last time. So the whole family gets dressed up. Well, not dressed up, but they get dressed and they go sneak into Calvary that Sunday night just to walk around, turn on lights, and kind of see it one last time. Bishop thanks Charity for suggesting the final visit, and everybody just kind of walks around, looks at their old offices and everything, and just kind of get their last little views. Now, y'all, we then see Bishop and Lady Mae, In the sanctuary on the stage, Bishop tells her, you know, whatever you want to do, May, I'm here with you. I'm rocking with you on this. And May is determined that, you know, she feels like Tara's doing holy work. She's doing ministry. She's going to give her the house and that they can start over. They'll make do. So they go break that to her, you know, let her know, hey, we're going to give it to you free and clear. And when they open the door, the girl's standing there looking all stuck on stupid. And just like that, y'all, out steps Rochelle. And she tells her, they're so predictable, the Greenleafs, just like clockwork. I knew they'd come. Didn't I tell you they'd come? And just like that, y'all, in true Greenleaf fashion, this is where the episode ends. Y'all, I just knew it was going to either be Basie or Rochelle. Now, the cold part about it is, at that moment, a SUV rolled up. Now, we didn't get a chance to see who was in the SUV. But I'm willing to bet that it's either Basie or it's somebody. I don't know. It gotta be Basie. But yeah, y'all drop down in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Did you watch the episode? Did I leave anything out? What are y'all thinking? What's gonna happen next? What are our predictions? Y'all make sure to tune in to the OWN Network for Greenleaf Season 5 and come through and chop it up with your girl, Pandy's Hair Candy, and more over here for all the breaking recaps and reviews. Alright, and also check my sister Web Savvy Cafe. She also hosts a chat and watch on Tuesday evenings at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that we kind of just chat and watch the show. So yeah, I'll have her channel linked down in the description. Again, I'm Pandy of Pandy's Hair Candy and More. If you did not do so on your way in, make sure you blow dry on that like button for your girl. It helps with my analytics here on YouTube. I would greatly appreciate it. Until next time, y'all, I will see you in the next video. Bye now.